Welcome to the second instalment of BI TV, your fortnightly recap of global business intelligence and analytics news, views and reviews. The first story we're looking at today is one by Tom Davenport on harvardbusinessreview.org, and it's an article entitled "Data is Worthless If You Don't Communicate It." And it sounds pretty obvious, but it's a fairly prevalent problem in the industry at the moment. And so the article goes on to say that too many managers, thanks to their business analyst counterparts, are compiling vast data stores of information that never really see the light of day and aren't used or understood effectively despite having business intelligence implementations in place. And so the article provides a really useful framework or checklist for business managers to help them understand how to communicate the benefit of data and the data analysis to their teams to make sure they can actually return investment on their business intelligence initiatives. The next article we have to discuss is a really interesting one, and it's called "SelfService BI Calls for Flexibility, Governance and User Aid," and it was written by Beth Stackpole on searchbusinessanalytics.com. And the article is essentially saying that although self-service BI is called self-service, it doesn't mean that business users can simply go ahead and unaided go and implement BI and create reports or dashboards and perform analysis by themselves without the correct training and guidance by IT. And so a lot of this article is based on a very interesting survey that was actually conducted by industry expert Wayne Eckerson. And it was a survey of 234 BI and IT professionals, and it was around the success, or not so much success, of their self-service BI initiatives. And the report found that 64% of respondents said that the success rate of their self-service BI initiatives was average or even lower. And it was also interesting that 61% said that self-service BI creates reporting chaos, and furthermore 73% of respondents said they were surprised at the level of training that was actually required to get the most out of their self-service BI initiative. And further, 42% said that self-service tools cause user confusion. It's a really good article to go and have a look at to get all the finer points and to understand the importance of the correct guidance and training for your self-service BI implementation. Our next article returns to the ever popular topic of big data. And it's one that was in Information Age, and it was reported by Chloe Green. And it was called "Big Data is the Future of Industry," says GE. And so basically it was a report on Jeff Immelt, the CEO of General Electric, and a speech that he made at Minds and Machines Europe, and it was an event that was held in London across last week. And essentially he was talking about the marriage of big data with industrial applications is actually producing what he called a productivity revolution. And so he went on to say and give some really interesting examples about how GE have leveraged analytics, and in fact he said at one point that GE gained $45 billion worth in extra revenue last year through the use and application of analytics. And he went on to talk about some of the uses and some of the benefits with automating processes and optimizing performance, as well as eliminating downtime. It's a very interesting read, and you should go and have a look because it gives you a really good idea of the possible applications and outcomes for big data analytics. Our next article continues on the big data theme, and it was written by Mary Shacklet on techrepublic.com. And the article was entitled "Big Data Analytics Requires Breakdown of Operational Silos." And so basically what Mary was talking about, she was discussing the need to make sure that IT infrastructure silos between platforms, networks and staff are really clearly broken down, preferably before an analytics implementation is put into place. The article does go on though to, however, lament the fact that this often is not the case in a lot of organisations, but there is light at the end of the tunnel. The article does reference an interesting survey that has found that 85% of marketing and IT executives do acknowledge that the two groups do need to work more closely together to get a better result and perfect their analytics implementations. moving on to mobile BI, there was a very insightful article recently written by executive editor for searchbusinessanalytics.com, Craig Stedman, and it was around the growing popularity of mobile BI. Stedman started off by talking about how mobile BI is already very popular amongst senior executives and sales reps. But his point was this, that it is growing so quickly now that you must have a plan of action to implement mobile BI more broadly throughout the organisation. And to substantiate this point, he referenced a number of crucial studies. The first one that he talked about was a report that was put out by Forrester Research. And it was based on responses from 634 organisations. And it was basically saying that 61% of those already have or plan to have mobile BI implementations in place within 12 months. The next major study that was referenced was Howard Dresner's latest mobile BI market study. And that indicated that more than 50% of respondents said that they expected the penetration of mobile BI software would exceed 40% of their total BI users by 2015. And of course, that study can be downloaded from the Yellowfin website for free. And lastly, I want to finish with another interactive piece. And I want to draw your attention to an interesting conversation that's going on the Business Intelligence, Big Data, Analytics, MIS Reporting and Database LinkedIn group. And it's around the topic, what is the difference between a KPI, metric and a measure? The conversation is useful and quite insightful, and it provides a lot of very tangible definitions of a surprisingly wide variety. It's really useful for any professional dealing with data at any type of level. So it's well worth joining the conversation. It's an open community, so get in there and have your say. So that's it for BI TV this time, and we'll catch you again for the next episode. Thanks for joining us.